So a little spoiler alert for you, because as I mentioned earlier on in today's opening of the podcast, on December 20th, the Brandon's World Merry Christmas special for 2024 will premiere. And during that time, during that show, I did my top 10 sports stories of the year for 2024. But I put a caveat in there as I already recorded that segment that if Bill Belichick were to go to North freaking Carolina, that would be unequivocally, even as some of the biggest sports stories of the year. Shohei Ohtani, the Chiefs, Caitlin Clark, Jim Harbaugh, etc. Bill Belichick going to North Carolina, in my mind, would be the biggest sports story of the year of 2024, and it wouldn't even be close. When I heard this report on Friday, my first reaction was, wait, what? He actually interviewed? Can you imagine Bill Belichick, who we also know is obviously great friends with former Alabama head coach, now on College Game Day, Nick Saban? Nick Saban left college football a year ago because he said, screw the NIL, screw the transfer portal. I'm spending more time recruiting my own players. I can't even get my fourth or best receiver. Now they want to go to SMU or wherever to be their number one receiver because all they care about is how much they're going to get paid and how much playing time are they going to have. I can't imagine this guy, Bill Belichick, who we all know is trying to build his reputation back up, especially after being the GOAT for 20 plus years in New England with the GOAT quarterback Tom Brady, their roster bottoming out last year to be one of the worst offenses in the history of football. No joke. And then obviously Robert Kraft talking behind Belichick's back. Belichick had one interview for an NFL job with Atlanta last year. He wanted that job. Atlanta did not give him the job because Belichick wanted personnel control. Atlanta would not give him personnel control. And now it sounds like Belichick and his agent are hearing that, the Jets have a job opening, obviously. The Saints have a job opening, obviously. The Jets have a job opening, obviously. Chicago has a job opening, obviously. And from what we're hearing from Bill's agent and Bill's side of things, none of those teams have even reached out to Bill. And so it sounds like Belichick is thinking he may get passed over again for an NFL head coaching job. And, Devin McCourty was on the pregame show on NBC Sunday night prior to the Chiefs Chargers Sunday night football game. And he said he talked to Belichick in September, and Belichick just missed coaching. He enjoys the media side a little bit. He gets to show off his fun personality that players in New England knew of him outside of the building. But Belichick just wanted the coach by any means possible. And, from what I've read and heard, it sounds like if Bill does take this North Carolina job, there would be a clause in there, the way there was a clause for Gerard Mayo to be the new head coach of the Patriots, that after Belichick was done coaching, Steve Belichick, his son obviously, would take over as the head coach. We know Steve Belichick has been in the college game this season, but I mean, I was wondering if Bill Belichick's 23-year-old girlfriend went to North Carolina, and this was the reason why Belichick was interviewing for the job, because this to me makes absolutely no sense. Could you see Mr. Do Your Job, Mr. No Internet, no cell phones, all business, talking down to the media? Could you imagine this guy with an AD? With boosters, even with a college football general manager that some teams, like Adrian Wojnarowski, moved on from ESPN to go to St. Bonaventure and be their general manager. We've seen the former Cardinals, general manager Steve Kine be invested there in the college football program ranks as GMs as this NIL and transfer portal stuff is happening. I couldn't imagine Belichick recruiting. I couldn't imagine, him with boosters, with an AD, with dealing with school reps. I can't imagine it. And I talked about Nick Saban leaving the sport. Not only him, but Jeff Appley, former Boston College head coach. He goes from Boston College to be a Packers defensive coordinator. Chip Kelly leaves UCLA as a head coach, and he goes to Ohio State as an offensive coordinator. And Chip Kelly basically said he did it to get his life back. And we're seeing this for college football. And I have said that if you are a coaching candidate, like a Mike Vrabel, who's been linked to the Ohio State job, if they were to let go of Ryan Day, and like Belichick, I think coaching in the NFL in 2024 or 2025, whatever you want to call it, as we get near the end of the year, even with the limited practice time, the structure around free agency, the draft, OTAs, training camp, grown men having players' lives. You can't do 2 a days. You can't hit as much. Players don't play in preseason. You got to deal with all this stuff. General manager, collaboration, owner, team president. There is a lot you got to deal with in the NFL, but it is less stressful, I believe, than trying to recruit your own players to stay at your own school for 365 days a year. And we've seen in college football, it takes coaches how many years to build their program? We've seen Brian Kelly struggle with this a little bit at LSU. We've seen Lincoln Riley struggle with this at USC, where they are in year 3, year 4 of this process. Even, you know, um, we'll see what happens now that Michigan, now that they lost Jim Harbaugh. I guarantee you it's going to take them 3, 4 years, 5 years. Even Steve Sarkisian at Texas, he's been there a while, finally has a great team. It takes years to build up that program. Bill Belichick doesn't have that much time. And they just fired Mac Brown, the former head coach at Texas. He was 73 years old. So, North Carolina, which has never been a football powerhouse anyway, they're a basketball school. Is Mitch Trubisky one of the best? Maybe you could say Drake May. Is Mitch Trubisky and Drake May the two best players they've ever had at that school? Seriously, I don't know. And what's funny about that is Belichick said he didn't like Drake May coming out of the draft going to New England. And Drake, in my opinion, has played great, even with the limited resources he's had in New England. We know Belichick is not the greatest finder in the draft, but could he recruit? Could he coach guys up? Sure, especially on the defense side of the ball. I believe that. He'll probably want to bring in his Josh McDaniels and his Joe Judges and his Matt Patricias to run his staff. I couldn't imagine all those guys recruiting in college either. So, this just seems like a very weird move. This is like a WWE wrestler, and again, I love him. Adam Copeland, aka Edge in WWE. To me, this is it moving from WWE to AEW. It's like, what? I never would have expected that. Not that college football is the minor leagues, like I think AEW is to WWE, but North Carolina, I have no respect for them as a football school. To be honest with you, it is sort of like the minor leagues compared to even coaching the Giants or the Raiders or the Saints or even the Jets, who I don't think Belichick would ever go to. But you get my rift. Um, this is shocking. Bill is an enigma. Bill is a unique individual, but I never suspected this coming. The fact that he interviewed should be like, what the hell? And if Bill Belichick wins this job, if he's truly the head coach of North Carolina next year, folks, I I think I'll be so shocked. For the first time ever for a sports story, I may be speechless. Like that clip from the Friends World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Friends World podcast right here on YouTube.